What up? Let's do a little NBA story time today because I think it paints a valuable lesson to all the young hoopers out there that have hoop dreams and love playing basketball. So, the story I want to tell is something that I remember early on from my, true, super intense NBA fandom, which started in the 2009 to 2010 NBA season. And there was a game that was played between the Golden State Warriors and the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, in which two top 10 draft picks of that year's draft faced off. The higher pick being Steph Curry, who was picked 7th overall by the Golden State Warriors in the 2009 NBA draft. And on the Bucks, the 10th overall pick, who was Brandon Jennings, that pick was made by the Bucks. So in this game, just the 7th game of Brandon Jennings' career, he scored 55 points. 55. And he did so in 41 minutes of action, shooting 21 of 34 from the field, 7 of 8 from three-point range, and he also finished with 5 rebounds and 5 assists and only 1 foul. Stephen Curry didn't have a bad game, 26 minutes, 6 for 9 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3, and 14 points. But he wound up with 5 fouls, probably because he was trying to defend Brandon Jennings, and Brandon Jennings was just on a tear. But the reason I want to tell this story is because at that moment in time, people believed, especially after seeing this game, that Brandon Jennings was better than Steph Curry. So fast forward 15 years to the present day. Steph Curry has 4 NBA championships, is the all-time leader in three-point field goals made, and is probably a top 5 player of all time. Brandon Jennings has been out of the league for several years, and I don't think he ever scored 50 points ever again. So, Brandon Jennings has not played an NBA game since the 2017-2018 season. So, I think it just goes to show that as important as it is in basketball to be athletic and have good size and, be fundamentally sound in terms of your basketball skills, I believe the mental aspect of the game is the largest piece in terms of whether or not a player will be successful on any level. And this is something that I struggled with in my basketball, career when I was younger and playing organized basketball, is that I didn't have a lot of confidence. I did not have a lot of confidence. I wouldn't shoot the ball at all. I could shoot. I spent pretty much all my free time playing basketball, most of the time by myself, just shooting around, practicing dribble moves, just hanging out at the park by myself with my headphones in and, just playing, right? But when it came to the game, I didn't have the confidence to take shots. And it didn't come until later, until I was in high school and college, that I had the confidence to take shots and, I would make them, but it takes those reps of you being confident and not really caring about what the outcome's going to be. Just doing everything you can to, trust the work that you put in, so that you can, play to the best of your ability, but have fun, like it's not fun if you're just worried about, what other people are going to think of you all the time, right? So that point exactly, worrying about what other people are going to think about you, I think ties in extremely well. So Steph Curry could have easily, after this game, which I'm sure he did, was probably upset, probably felt like Brandon Jennings just, gave him a run for his money, and that, he was getting, his spot was getting blown up by a guy who got picked after him. And Steph could have easily, backed down and been like, you know what, I suck, I'm not good enough, yada yada, whatever. But kept his head down, kept working, and eventually he proved why he's one of the best players to ever touch a basketball court. And I just think it's just funny how quickly things can change in the NBA, right? Because not only did Steph Curry, prove that he's a better player than Brandon Jennings, Steph Curry, changed the way that we play the game. Like before Steph Curry, people weren't, taking threes on the fast break. That would have been like sacrilegious. Like no one was doing that. It was like you take a layup or you take the ball out and you settle it so you can get an interior shot somehow. You run a pick and roll from the top once everybody catches up. Like no one was taking 3-point shots on a fast break attempt. And Steph Curry just made the 3-point shot like the most efficient shot in basketball. And, to his credit, obviously not a lot of people can emulate this, game plan like Steph Curry does, because he's just an unreal shooter. So, I don't know. I just think that story is so interesting to me, because I didn't really think about it at the time, but like thinking about it now, I'm like, wow, like Steph Curry is still in the league, probably could win another championship before it's all said and done, could win 2 more championships before it's all said and done. Whereas Brandon Jennings is on, Gilbert Arenas' podcast, not in the league anymore. And that's no shot at Brandon Jennings. I think Brandon Jennings is still a really good player, and was a great player in his day. There's a lot of people that if they can emulate Brandon Jennings' career, they'd be great players in the league. But it's just at that time, Brandon Jennings put up 55 points, and everybody's probably looking at him like, wow, like this guy's going to be the next star of the league. This is going to be the face of the league, and it just never really turned out that way. Brandon Jennings was always a great player and, would demand value in the free agency market or in the trade market, but his career was pretty short-lived. And it just goes to show, if you just keep your head down and you keep working and you don't let your confidence waver just because, you had a bad day or someone's doing better than you, you can't compare yourself to other people. And your timeline's going to be different than everyone else's timeline. So as long as you keep your head down and stay focused and, don't beat yourself up over things that you can't control, and don't overanalyze things, you can still come out on top. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter how much time you're taking to get to your goal. You can still achieve it as long as you maintain faith in yourself and you believe that you can do it. Manifestation is a really real thing. And it's not just about writing it down in a journal or whatever. Like, it's about thinking that way. And that's where it starts, with your thought process. So if you can think the right way and maintain that thinking and keep your mental fortitude strong, the world is your oyster. So I just think it's a funny story. If you guys haven't been watching the NBA long enough to know about this, or you don't even know who Brandon Jennings is, just look up the highlights from this game. It was in 2009, I think in November of 2009. It was like the 8th game of the season. Just look it up, because for one, it was an incredible performance by Brandon Jennings. But 2, it's interesting to look at Steph Curry, then, and look at him now and just see how different it is. And you can see the confidence, in the body language of Steph Curry. Steph Curry did not have the same swagger and confidence back then that he does now. And obviously, when you have a ton of accomplishments and praise and things like that, it's easier to be confident in yourself. But, it's a crazy story. It's a crazy story. And it didn't, people didn't think Brandon Jennings was better than Steph Curry for that long. I think Steph Curry still ultimately had a better rookie season than Brandon Jennings. And Brandon Jennings shot an atrocious percentage from the field for his rookie season. Despite, shooting a very good percentage in this game, he shot 37% from the field in his rookie season. And he played every single game. He played 82 games, started all 82, and played 32.6 minutes a game. So, he kind of showed himself as a volume shooter. And, maybe that was what contributed to him, not lasting in the league that long. But, like I said, things changed in the NBA quickly. In 2009, people thought Brandon Jennings was going to be, much better than Steph Curry, just from this one game. But the tables turned. The tables turned. So if you guys like this video, leave me a like, comment, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if there's more things you guys want me to talk about in terms of basketball or non-basketball, let me know. Love to engage with you guys and, talk about things that you guys want to hear about. So let me know what you want to hear about next. Peace.